So after, oh my god, I still have monitoring on. Okay, now I can't hear myself think or talk. After, like, how many videos have I done now? Like, at least a dozen, right? I'm starting to think I've been doing it wrong the whole time, in as far as like how I'm recording stuff. See, if you care to know, what I usually do is I have my phone up here and I use for a picture, and for my personal audio I use AirPods, and then for recording myself I use these Hollyland wireless microphones, which I recommend a lot, by the way. I think you can get them on sale in a comparable price to like what a really good desktop microphone would cost, with the added benefit of it's like entirely wireless, etc., etc. But as I was going through like all the rigmarole, and anyway, so like I use continuity camera from my phone to stream to, or to like record camera to OBS. I'm pointing at my monitor here, in the Hollyland for recording audio. And as I'm setting all this up, I was trying to think like, why am I doing all that? Why don't I just record a video straight onto my phone and plug the Hollyland into my phone? Why am I going through like a computer at all? So I just had this like epiphany as I was. I mean, the point I'm making is it takes me like 15 minutes to set up a video, and I think it's a lot of I don't know, so many things that I want to do in my life are contingent on me removing obstacles to getting started, right? Like when I want to work out, I make sure I have my workout clothes. I'm pointing at my living room, like right over there, because that's where I work out. So I don't even have to go like all the way upstairs to change my clothes to work out. When I want to pay the bills, I have the bills right on my desk. So often is the time that like I want to do some solo play, and I really am enjoying, to the point where like I'm enjoying recording gameplay so much, to the point like that if I can't record it, I'm like, it's not fun, it's not worth it, which I think is really weird and probably very very unlike almost everybody who does solo play. Okay, nope. Are we not no candle? I'm gonna go get a lighter. I can talk while I walk. So the setup takes so long to do that I'm like, if I can't go through the rigmarole of setting up, then I'm not gonna play. But I want to play. I've been back home for like a week now, and I've achieved like a equilibrium in my like everything else in my life. I think I alluded last session that I've started working out, and I got this thing like whenever I change up my life routine a little bit, like adding a new thing to do, like working out, it throws everything else like out of balance, and it takes me a minute to find, I use the word equilibrium again before I could like go back to the hobby stuff. I went through this too, like when the girls started going to dance class and I had to like go to dance class. I had like no game nights for like a month or two while I figured out how to make that happen. So I think I need to take a good look at how I record these videos. Well, there's probably, because the way I do all this is built off of the way I play games online, which would require all this. I couldn't do that with just my phone. Anyway, I'm back. It's good to be back. I spent a week out of state, living like briefly described the cabin life, where I was, chopping firewood every day and hauling water from a well, drinking water, and helped my father-in-law demo a bathroom. That's vacation, guys. And I think I made the promise. I don't know if I promised it, but I said I was going to try to play Cairnethalis while I was out there. Not even a little bit. I think I got as far as making a character, and I'm like halfway through the introductory dungeon. And that is all the personal time I had for an entire week. It's funny how the older you get, the less, and the bigger your family gets, the less your vacation time belongs to you. It's something I gotta work on, I think. And then I think I went over it last video too. I've been prioritizing fitness lately, and I'm happy to share that even though I was on vacation, chopping firewood and all that definitely counted at filling my rings. I'm going to show off my fitness rings. In fact, every time I was out there chopping wood, my watch was like, "Did you forget to start a workout? Because your heart is about to explode." And so even though I didn't stick to my routine like I meant to, I was able to keep at it. Today's Sunday, so I just got back, not just back, a couple hours ago. I signed up for a spin class, which has been kind of nutty. I think it's shocking to see how fast my heart rate will like fly off the handle as I'm spinning. Today was the first class I attended where I felt good though every time. But this was the first spin class I went to where I felt like in control, I guess it is maybe the term, like I felt like good about it and not so awkward on the bike. In other fitness news, since coming back from vacation, I have upped I'm working out with dumbbells, and they're like the adjustable kind, and I've adjusted from 10 to 15 pounds. And the week was interesting to see which routines I could do at 15 pounds versus the ones that I had to scale back down to 10 as the sets went on. And I'm very thankful to have a fitness app that I use, which automatically sort of adjusts the routine. In like real time, noticing like if I'm struggling or whatever. What else? I've got in-person game night is on the books. It'll be later this week. Today's Sunday. It'll be this Friday. I'm super excited. We got some new players coming in, so it's going to be a pretty full table if all the RSVPs play out. And even though we will have missed playing in October, I do have one Halloween-themed Shadowdark session planned. Brief spoilers for anybody who's watching this who's at my table at home, because this Friday we will be playing through The Count, the Castle, and the Curse by R.B. Bow. I believe that is Deficient Master on YouTube. And it's essentially a point crawl through a vampire castle. You can see the map here. The players start in the dungeon and have to find the means to escape before the Count. At midnight, he will close in on the players and kill them. However, there's a slight wrinkle in the plan where the players will discover that they are infected by vampirism. And the whole dungeon crawl challenge is managing a unique stress mechanic, and the slippery slope of dabbling in vampirism while trying to find their way out of this castle, which is absolutely horrifically haunted. So it's what do I want to say about this? So I'm thinking about, there's like this not prequel, like this preliminary story of how the Count invites the party into his castle. It goes this whole yesterday, this evening, and moments ago is like narrative that you're supposed to read to the players. I thought about recording it here and sharing it with the players because real time is important in this session. You set like a time at the table, like we start at 6 o'clock, and I would say like at 10 o'clock it's going to count as midnight in the game, and that is when the Count is coming after you. So in order to like maximize the amount of time we have at the table to play through the castle, I thought about reading through like the preliminary story and giving the players like an introduction to the castle here on this channel, like recording the preliminary stuff and sharing it with them before we play. So I might do that later this week. And then, so that's the in-person group. And then I have some more online play scheduled for late next week. And I'm so excited to play with those guys again. It's been a minute. Everyone's been really busy. And it sounds like, counting who is planning on showing up, it'll probably just be some more liminal horror shenanigans, because I really can't get enough of that game. And that brings us to here, solo play. I did not have time. Usually I like to like rewatch the last video to get caught up on what's going on and whatever solo shenanigans I'm up to. I didn't have time. So, and it's been a while, so my memory is not very clear on where exactly we left off. But judging from my notes, it looks like Torsten is closing in on finding Toki, the exile, which is hidden somewhere inside this garrison. And if memory serves, the story was almost cut short as Torsten and Sif encountered Frode. Let's take a pause and look at the Warden Saga has like a pronunciation guide, and maybe that will help me. I am like notoriously bad at pronouncing stuff. Hold on. I think it's just Frode, or maybe Frode. Who first presented himself as like a mad skald who lived in a tower and sort of resided as like the man in charge over the homeless community built inside the courtyard. Well, I guess they're not technically homeless, that they live in the courtyard. However, the conversation between the skald, Torsten, and Sif did not go super well. I think Sif kind of sucked at it, and the skald was... Oh, what? Yay! Sif ruined it. I know what does that. Can I turn that off? Reactions. Yes. Okay. No more balloons. Anyway, the skull turned out to be like a lich, the Runecairn equivalent of a lich, and almost drained the vitality straight out of Torsten. Nope, but Torsten narrowly succeeded in defeating the Skald, but not without breaking through the floor of the tower and slip sliding into the basement sinkhole beneath the whole garrison, where they found one thing they found was a bonfire, which was good, so they could take a breather. In fact, let's take a note that there's a bonfire here in the basement. Notes that I'm sure is impossible to read. We're going to draw a little. I'm in a very silly mood tonight. This is my rendition of a campfire. I accept no criticisms of my doodling, compliments only. That's a joke. I would love to. It's not going to bother me. Anyway, so the sinkhole is basically like full of sewage. It's where everyone in the community is just basically like dumping. Well, you can imagine what they're dumping. However, there's like little pockets of semi-dry land that Torsten drags Sif to, so she could recover. She was under a sleep spell, and then that's where they found the bonfire and took a rest. And Torsten immediately spent the soul he recovered from the Skald after narrowly defeating him. If memory serves, all the stats and stuff are reset. I just got to redo the fatigue. I lost my gut eraser to the kids. And I also lost the spear, if I'm not mistaken. So that brings us to 4, 5 slots for fatiguing. Okay, I'm gonna pause to get some mood music. I would be curious to know if anybody who what am I trying to say? Anybody who, because I put like playlists or music in my episode notes. I personally love to listen to background stuff while I play, and my intention is that you guys would like both play my video and the same playlist in the background. Kind of like DIY a soundtrack. I'd be curious to know if anyone ever actually bothers. It wouldn't change. I mean, I'm gonna keep like plugging it, but I don't know. Just curious. I'm surprised more people don't do that. Anyway, where's my music? Oh no, I didn't link in the last one. Oops. Here we go. Oh, that's really loud. Okay. So in the fetid sewer beneath the garrison, Torsten sits sort of slumped over at the foot of a waning bonfire with his arms kind of thrown around his knees, trying to hold in whatever warmth he can. And in the middle distance of this swampy basement, you can see hanging on a like an altar of scrap metal stands a shirt of armor. A shirt of armor? Chainmail. A suit of chainmail. And it's sort of elevated above the platform by all these rusted cables that run through it, like through the torso and out the neck and through the arm slots, the sleeves. And despite being housed in some of the most horrific conditions, the chainmail gleams with a sort of pristine quality that doesn't really fit the circumstances. On the other side of the bonfire, Sif slowly stirs. She rises from where Torsten laid her down, and she nurses a horrific headache. Well, I guess the first thing to do before we go any further with this scene would be to test it with Mythic, which once again I don't have ready yet. Mythic, GME, yeah. Okay, I also don't have my dice ready. Like I said, I'm out of practice. Okay. Chaos factor is 5. I think chaos, the Scald encounter would cause the chaos factor to change, not in our favor. Let's see. Page 17. I want to know if the chaos factor would have increased or decreased for scenes. End of scene bookkeeping. Character list. Remove list elements. Adjust the chaos factor. In other words, did they make progress towards any of the goals? Yes, but did they suffer any sidetracks? Not. A scene that was mostly within your PC's control gives the chaos factor a -1 modifier, while a scene that was mostly out of their control gives the chaos factor a +1. I think I want to increase the chaos factor because the whole encounter with the Scald happened because, if I'm remembering right, because Sif threw a wrench into everything. And if you can say nothing else, Torsten was definitely not in control of the scene, right? So we're gonna raise the chaos factor by 6, and now I can test the scene. I need that cheat sheet. Okay. My PDF for the cheat sheet is all wonky. When I scroll, it like glitches. All right, roll a d10 and compare it to the chaos factor of 6. We rolled over, so we have our expected scene. So as Torsten is sitting next to the bonfire, staring at the chainmail, sort of pondering its existence, like why is it down here? He hears Sif stirring on the ground beside him at the bonfire, and she sort of rolls over with a tired groan, in obvious poor condition because of the remnants of the Scald sleep spell. She's rubbing her head and blinking fatigue from her eyes, which are rapidly adjusting to like the dark circumstances of their location. Where this is Sif. She says, how did we get down here? What does that smell? Torsten rolls his eyes and passes a flask of like a water skin over to her to wash the taste of rough sleep out of her mouth. She swishes and spits before actually drinking. And then he answers her and he says, I don't think I would. You may not want to investigate too closely what that smell is. You're not going to like the answer. And shockingly enough, Sif accepts that response. What is that? She says as she... did I say this is Torsten? This is Sif. This is no Sif, the blue one. What is that? She says as her eyes adjust to the dark and she sees the armor suspended on cabling. And Torsten takes his water skin back and takes a small sip. I get to drink cider, hot cider. They get water. Torsten drinks from the water skin and says, well, where I come from, we would call that bait or a trap. And he puts a heavy hand on Sif's shoulder as she starts to rise to sort of approach the embankment of the island of muck that they're sitting on, getting closer to the armor. Easy now. I think that armor is a trap. For once, maybe out of appreciation for having literally saved her life, Sif listens and sits back down at the bonfire. Well, are we going to try to get it, or should we keep on looking for the exile, for Toki? I don't have an answer. Me, the GM, I don't have an answer for that. The armor seems like a good opportunity. Let's say with a roll of wit, can Torsten convince himself he can beat the trap? Oh yeah. Look, we can get it. We just need to do this the smart way. Torsten stands up, and walks to the edge of the embankment. So between Torsten and Sif is this like river of sludge. Not river, like pond. We'll use green peoples. There's this sludge, muck. And then on the other side is the chainmail. Can you think of a way to get across without going in the water, first of all? Let's look at our belongings. Does Torsten still have his spear? Did it fall down here with him? I think it's unlikely. An 89. Unlikely 89 on a 6. Yeah, I had to roll a 50, I think, or lower to get it. That's interesting. Wait a second. Did to roll under or over? Oh my god, this is the worst recording ever. The fate chart. Choosing odds. Using the fate chart. You'll have your question, you have your odds. Cross-reference to determine odds. To get the probability of a yes. If you roll within the value, the answer is yes. Did not roll within the value. So it's a roll under system. So no, the spear is lost. So that's no. Torsten says, no, I don't have my spear. Otherwise, I could use it to maybe like vault across. We have my axe, your axe. Is there something lying around? I think it'd be pretty likely. Oh, a 1. Holy. Yeah, there's Torsten turns it, like looks around at the ground of refuse around them and finds like a fisherman's like the staff, the long staff a boatman would use to propel his boat on a riverbank. Or that's his first guess as to what it is. And gets a running start, and with a strength check, of which he has 14, so it's very likely. Yeah, vaults right over, and then sort of turns about and pushes the pole over to Sif, and Sif rolls a 9. I'm going to assume a 9 gets it. I don't. She's a bandit. I need bandit stats. Yeah, here's Sif. That was the Death Eater. Oof. Oh, Death Eater. I don't want to see that guy again. Death Eater. This isn't Harry Potter. Brigand. Who is Brigand? The strength was 8. Ooh. Strength was 8. She fails. Sif goes splashing into the water. And then I think with a 19, yeah, she definitely she falls into the water and splashes around and comes up coughing and sputtering back on the embankment. She can't get across. Torsten, that like she rolls over and she's like throwing up on the embankment. She's definitely got some sort of. She picked something up in the doo-doo water. You're gonna try again, and she's coughing and heaving and waves him off. Well, there's nothing he can do for her over here, and let's not forget that Torsten doesn't really like Sif in the first place, so she's on her own and he's on his own. Instead, Torsten turns to the suspended chainmail and is the chainmail actually trapped? Was he right in his assumption? I think it's likely. 40. 6. So yes, the chainmail was trapped. You can see that it is sort of like anchored to the cabling is all anchored to the ceiling, and it's like what do you call it? Like one of those like tension chairs or like tables or whatever, where it's like suspended by like rope alone. It's kind of like that kind of a deal, and cutting the cord, the cables keeping the chainmail suspended means pulling the ceiling will cave down on him. So instead, Torsten takes the pull the boat pole, and uses his axe to like cut like a notch. So now the pole has like a crude hook. And he vaults back across easily and joins Sif, who's getting greener by the second, and he uses the pole to like hook the chainmail, or he's gonna try. That's testing his dex. No. When he pulls on it, the chainmail comes loose and the ceiling caves in, burying the chainmail. But he has exposed a way out of the sinkhole back into the garrison at large. And I believe the scene being done, I have cleared more keywords to get us close. Floor gives way. Yep, this one. I'm gonna give myself 3 more checks. 1, 2, 3. Now Torsten, I guess we can get rid of this. We might be able to undig the chainmail if we have time. But Torsten, I did sketch a little bonfire there. Good job, past me. Sort of drags Sif out of the sinkhole through the opening that they just discovered, leading them up into the garrison chamber. And up there they find a room that is littered with broken furniture and debris. It's basically just full of garbage. Nothing really noteworthy or intact. However, the room that they emerge into is a long, I don't want to say, it's a longer room. It's longer than it is wide. And at the center is a like collapsed like one of those like long tables that the whole clan would dine together at, presumably, or the whole army that lived here. Torsten and Sif have emerged at the far end, and on the other side is a portal, of all things. When Torsten looks across the table, he sees a shimmering blue circular portal and almost doesn't believe his eyes when what he sees on the other side of the portal. I'm going to roll on the description tables for Mythic. What is on the other side of the portal? What does he see? Collected tables and sheets. I guess I'd roll on the description table. Characters, creatures, city descriptors. Forest descriptors. I don't know if it is a forest. Scavenging results? Sounds. Terrain descriptors. Okay, there it is. Terrain descriptors. What's on the other side of the portal? I'll roll twice and put it together. 14. A city. 19. A vibrant, a colorful city is on the other side of the portal. It's a stark contrast to Whitebridge, which is the only civilization Torsten has seen uh, in this realm so far. It actually, he feels a pang of homesickness when he sees on the other side of the portal um, such a vibrant city. I guess it instantly makes him think like, am I looking at like the way home? Is he looking at the way home? It's unlikely. 6. He is. This is the realm I came from. And his grip on Sif's like shoulder like slackens. He almost drops her onto the ground, on the floor. But then he realizes that between him and the portal is another figure. So it's a big shimmering blue portal. Sif is now purple. And is it Toki? What do we do when we fill all our... We're just going to shortcut and pretend that we filled in all the... If this succeeds, because at the end of a delve, you test for very cleared. Roll on the resolution table. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, 1, roll a d6 on the resolution table, page 56. Okay, what did we... Is this... On a 1 to 2, it's Toki. 3 to 4 is a clue. It's not Toki. But instead, it's a man wearing the same like family crest as Toki. It's one of his kinsmen or something. Something like it's one of Toki's people, and he is holding one hand up to the portal and moving it in a way to make like magical signs, clearly empowering the circle. And he turns to look over his shoulder at Torsten and says, he says, "Exiled one, in exchange for giving up this fool's errand, I can offer you a way back home to the land you remember. And all you have to do is lay down your weapon when you approach, and I will hold this portal up to let you through." I wish I had a way of testing Torsten's character. His resolve and his grip sort of tightens on, is manifested by his grip tightening on Sif's, like he grabs her, lock their forearms and he pulls her back up to her feet. And he says, politics aside and my personal feelings for my employer aside, I took a promise. I took on a task, and I don't do so lightly. Torsten gives a somewhat longing look at the portal, but instead he draws his axe and sort of points it at this figure. You're wearing the same insignia as your kinsman, Toki. I take it to mean you know where he is? This mysterious figure says aye, and at the same time he closes his hand and the portal winks out of existence. There's a lot of people hurting back at Whitebridge, and supposedly Toki knows something of what's causing it. If you have any compassion for the people of Whitebridge, you'll surrender yourself and come with us and tell us where Toki has gone. How does the stranger react to that? Let's roll on the reaction table. NPC reaction. 1, 2. Helpful. Say no more, exile, and this stranger turns squarely to look at Toki and Sif and presents his wrists. Take me into imprisonment, he says with a somewhat mirthful expression. By all means, take me in. Have your Rosina, have your Rosina interrogate me. I know I'm as good as dead anyway. But you're only giving my brother more time. And I think that's where we're going to end for tonight. Because I have sort of surprised myself at this turn of events. I have no idea where I got to have a brother of Toki, if that's who he really is, just show up. So I think I've got some thinking to do on this one. If you watch the video, if you listen to my whole pre-game preamble, I really appreciate it. It's nice to have a platform to just express myself. If you have ideas for where the story could go, I'm all ears, because as you can clearly see, I'm making it up as I go. And as always, thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. These videos get a lot more views than I would ever expect. So I really appreciate it. Have a good night, and I will see you next time.